Okay, there you have. Okay, sabi nila wala pa akong audio. Do you guys hear my audio na? Is it good? Yeah, I'm guessing it's pretty much good na. Alright. Well, first time ko magpa-podcast na mag-isa. So, normally may kasama ako. Pero for tonight, wala yung mga tambayang crew. So, yeah, welcome to Watch Sports Podcast where we're going to talk about NBA, the NFL, also a bit about the football world and other sports na itatakil natin. So, disclaimer lang guys, I'm not an expert. Okay, so prior to everything that I'm gonna say in the show, it's all about my opinion as a fan. Okay, so anyway, I created this show naman for all the fans. So, yeah, basically let's have a discussion. We're gonna talk about sports. Meron kasi madami akong topics na gusto pag-usapan, and this past few months wala akong masyado kausap sa sports. That's why I started this podcast. So hopefully you guys could join the conversation. Now, I'm pretty sure wala pa naman nagko-comment kaya hindi pa gumagana yung comment box. So guys, if you have any comments or any shout-outs that you want to do, comment below para rin malaman ko kung gumagana yung comment box. And yeah, speaking of, thank you so much Next Level Fantasy Basketball for supporting me, brother. Kasama ko sa league nila. And kung naghahanap pa kayo ng ibang league, I think they still have an open spot for their league. So, tama ba ako? Let's see. We'll check out. And yes, the reason why I'm doing this podcast right now, and basically the concept of this whole episode for today is the NBA Eastern Conference team preview is because the NBA is right around the corner. Malapit na. I think the first game would be on Wednesday. We'll also highlight later kung ano yung mga games sa first week ang mukhang interesting. So yeah, the reason I'm doing this would be the Eastern Conference for Friday, and then on Monday, either Monday or Tuesday, kakayanin ko ba kung Tuesday? Tuesday we'll do the Western Conference preview. But for today, we'll talk about Eastern Conference teams. We'll see kung ano ba yung mga teams na improve, kung anong teams ang tingin natin papasok for the NBA Finals next season. Yes. And if you guys want to ask anything later, or you guys want to comment on whatever I'm going to say, please do so. I'd like to talk to you guys about it. So, let's start. But before we start our NBA talk or our Eastern Conference, I'd like to talk first about the NFL. Dude, kanina may game sa NFL. Honestly, wala akong makausap sa NFL dito sa Philippines. So, kung sino man yung mga viewers natin dyan na fan ng NFL, please do comment and let's talk. Wala kasi akong makausap. All of my friends are not NFL fans. Wala akong friends na super NFL fan. Kaya, nahihirapan ako gumawa ng or maghanap ng kausap regarding the NFL. So, for this one naman, let's talk first about the NFL. Kanina may NFL game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Buccaneers. Now, here's a little... wala yung slide. Here's a little stats for you guys. Now, Buccaneers won 28-22. They were led by Tom Brady. Dude, can I just say, this Tom Brady, or Tom Brady the GOAT, sobrang lupit niya, min. I'll tell you why later. Okay, anyway, he had 297 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. By the way, yung interception niya was late in the second quarter na feeling ko wala. Binato lang niya. I saw the game kanina. Anyway, by the way, to all our viewers, I'm actually streaming some of the NFL games. So just check this page if ever maglalabas ako ng games na i-stream. Hopefully by Monday makapag-stream ako. I'm not sure if I could stream Monday 1 a.m. Depends pa. Either Monday 1 a.m. or Monday 8 a.m. I'll stream one NFL game. Anyway, Fournette rushed for 81 yards and he had 2 touchdowns. Okay yung, well, sobrang dali ng touchdown sa kanya. He was a monster kanina. He was just running. He was eating the defense of Philadelphia. And then, O.J. Howard also had 1 touchdown. Okay, Rami, nag-comment siya. Lodi, may episode 69 special din ba to? Med, mahirap eh. Mag-isa lang ako eh. Pero isipan natin kung may episode 69. I'm actually not, depende ba? Ewan ko, magbibilang ako hanggang 69 dito, but we'll see. But thank you, Rami, for tuning in. Next is we have Antonio Gibson receiving for, he had 9 receptions with 93 yards and then 1 touchdown. Okay, he basically torched the secondary kaya ng Eagles. He had a great game. Now, for the Eagles, eto lang masasabi ko, Jalen Hurts threw for 144 yards and then he had 44 rushing yards. He had 3 touchdowns, which are actually quite good. 1 passing and 2 rushing and then 1 interception. Pinanood ko yung game kanina. First time ko mapanood si Jalen Hurts. So, dude, para siyang running back pa naglalaro siya. He was literally running and he wasn't sliding. He was basically colliding with the defenders. So, medyo nakakatakot, especially if you're playing fantasy football. Kung may mga fantasy football fans dyan, please mag-usap tayo. Wala akong makausap ng fantasy football dito. Anyway, medyo nakakatakot kasi a running back that gets hit a lot, medyo injury prone yun. So, yeah, was quite scary. Miles Sanders had a quiet night, 56 yards lang. Zach Ertz had 4 receptions, 2 he was the only one outside of Jalen Hurts to score a touchdown. Plus, I think he had a two-point conversion. So, it was pretty much a good game. It was pretty much a good game for Zach Ertz. It was a fun game. 21-7 by halftime. And then, late third quarter, Jalen Hurts got 2 touchdowns, which was fun. So anyway, I highly encourage everyone, mga sports fans na manood ng NFL din. NFL is really fun to watch. It's very entertaining. I've been into it for the past 2 seasons. Nakapasok ko. Pero mga 6-7 years ako puro Super Bowl lang eh. So anyway, at least ngayon medyo tutunan ko yung game, which I'm trying to learn talaga. Also pala, take note, they had Buccaneers had 12 penalties. By the way, they have the most penalties in the whole league right now, and they lost 120 yards because of those penalties. So technically, parang 10 yards per penalty. Alright, so that's basically just a talk for NFL. So if anyone wants to talk about it, please do message me. Wala akong makausap sa NFL. Speaking of NFL, this week would be Lamar Jackson versus Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is one of basically my favorite quarterback right now. It's really good. And he's still young, second year lang siya. It's going to be a good matchup. So hopefully I could stream that one. Anyway, you guys aren't here for the NFL naman. Side note lang to para lang madagdag sa ating content. We're here basically for this one. Yes, there we go. The NBA Eastern Conference team preview. Oh my God. So, oh hi Eman. Hello, good evening. Ba't mo kasi ni sir? Parang magka-batch lang tayo, Eman. Mula kay sir. Oh, kailan ko kakanta? Tagal lang kita hindi nakita kumakanta. Okay. Anyway guys, follow nyo rin si Eman. Kumakanta siya. Nagla-live stream siya ng kumakanta. Okay yung mga kinakanta niya. Okay din yung boses niya. So pwede kayo mag-request sa kanya. Doon kayo mag-request ng kanta sa kanya. Huwag sa akin, just in case. Anyway, let's talk about the Eastern Conference teams this year. We all know Milwaukee was a champion, and also they were the ones who advanced in the Eastern Conference this year. Now, for the past few years, the Eastern Conference has been known as the Leastern Conference. Kasi di ba, alam na madaming tao nagsasabi na yung mga teams dito are far less superior compared to the Western side compared to the Western Conference. Yet, I think in the past few years, a lot of teams here have improved, you know. Not like before, dalawa or tatlo lang masasabi mong okay na teams dito sa Eastern. But now, they've steadily improved. I would say there are at least 6 or even 7 teams who are, when they win this conference, in my opinion, could compete with the talent in the Western side of the conference. So, yan ang check out natin today. Again, I'm not an expert, okay? These are based from the articles I read, the games I've watched, and basically my insights lang, parang kutob lang, okay? So kung nag-expect kayo ng sobrang expert opinion, hindi ako magsasabi expert ako dito, okay? I'm just a fan, okay? So I'm just here to start the conversation and just talk. Alright, so let's start first with the check. Start first with the Atlanta Hawks. Okay, now, excited ako sa team na to. I'm really excited for this team because I'm a fan of John Collins and Trae Young. Now, I think this year they're going to be better. They've added a few additions to their team, but basically the good thing about this team is intact sila. The key losses that they had was basically just Stoney Snell, Chris Dunn, Bruno Fernandes, Brandon Goodwin. But lahat ng core players are still intact. And the good thing about them is they're young. I think they were shocked with their progress last season. Hindi nila ini-expect na abot ata silang East Finals. And a lot of people didn't expect them to reach the East Finals. They actually thought na magre-rebuild ang Atlanta last season. But they exceeded all of that. And they advanced to the East Finals where they lost to the Bucks. 2-4. Anyway, their standing last season was 5th in the Eastern Conference. I honestly think they would be part of the top 4, in my opinion. They're really good. They have a good starting lineup with Trae Young, Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, and Clint Capella. Now, this one here, with the starting lineup, this is just projected. I'm not sure if this is the starting lineup that they'll go. Pero, if you're gonna ask me, I think this is the one that they should go. I believe Bogey is their 6th man, Bogan Bogdanovic. So, I guess putting him in the second unit would balance everything out. I think mas meron siyang capabilities to create his own shot. Also, he has good playmaking skills. So, I guess him handling the second unit with Gallo and Cam Reddish would actually be good. Now, and yeah, Yeah, Jello, Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish, good. Good potential, pero this past preseason, di ganun kaganda yung nilaro niya. So, we'll see if ever okay siya. But, in terms of this, I'm really high on Boogie to have a rebound year. Last year, I don't think... Well, it's not the Sacramento Kings Boogie that we saw. Pero I think this year, he would also hope he gets his form. The Sacramento Kings form niya. In terms of addition, Delon Wright, that would be... Ito medyo parang underrated na addition to. Pero I think this is a good addition for them. At least magkakaroon sila another guard who could actually back up Trae Young. As of the moment, wala silang dinagdag dun. Last year was Chris Dunn, defensive-minded. But yeah, Delon Wright I think is an upgrade in terms of the point guard position backup. Okay, let's move. Fantasy players to watch is basically, I think, Bogan, like I said. Bogdan, I think. He's the fantasy player to watch here. I think he's gonna have a great year. Aside from John Collins and Trae Young, okay? Yung mga fantasy players to watch na nalagay ko dito mostly are the ones I'm really high on. I'm high on Trae Young and John Collins because it's given, even Clint Capella. But, you know, may mga other stuff na parang baka na-overlook natin. I think Bogdanovic for this team and Kevin Werther are the players to watch in the fantasy. So far sa lahat ng leagues ko, late round pick si Werther. So I guess you'll have a chance to have good value in the later rounds. Key questions going to the season or key storylines that we should see is can Trae Young and John Collins level up to stardom? Yes. If I'm not mistaken, they were not All-Stars last season. Double check natin yung fact na yun. If they were pero John Collins wasn't an All-Star last season and also Trae Young. So hopefully this year will they level up from their stats from last season. John Collins really had a great season. Ako fan ako ni John Collins. Not just in fantasy but the way he plays, man. I'm not sure if I'm the only fan of John Collins here. So if you guys are a fan of John Collins, let me know. I'd like to know. Alright. Yeah, so last season, Trae Young had 25 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds. Will we see more of that? Defending-wise, mas okay ba siya? Will he improve his defense? Kasi yan ang ano sa kanya, yan ang kanyang issue sa kanya na he's not that good in defending. Well, because of his size, for his point guard, I guess, na nako-cover pa niya with his offensive skills. Next is Collins. Collins had 18.7 rebounds and a block last season. Hopefully he gets to do double-double, but I know medyo mahirap since Clint Capella is still with them. Pero I'm looking into, I think they would have a great season together. So yeah, and the next question is, can they stay healthy? Bogdan only played 44 games last season. Gallo only played 51. Reddish played 26 because of the injury, and also Hunter played 26. And then Lou Williams basically played 34 games, di ba? Speaking of Lou Williams, he's still here. I think he would be a great reserve player, pero not sure if fantasy-wise okay siya. Anyway, so yeah, can they stay healthy? Kasi with this core, if they are healthy, they're scary. You know, I think they could go to top 3. Top 4 to top 3, kaya nila dominate dito with the lineups that they have. Plus, they have a good coach in Nick McMillan. So yeah, that's what I think with this Atlanta Hawks. Let's move on to Boston Celtics. Now, Boston Celtics added a lot of pieces this offseason. They had the new coach with Amy Udoka. They got back Al Horford and his Kanter, Josh Richardson, Bruno Fernandes, Juancho Hernan-Gomez, and then their rookie pick, which is Johan Beragin. Their starting lineup projection would be Dennis Schroeder, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Robert Williams. I think we could put Dennis Schroeder here in the reserve list. We could also put him as a 6-man if ever they choose to do that. Kasi I think pwede nilang ipasok sa starting lineup would be Al Horford beside Robert Williamson. But then again, siguro magiging per matchup basis to. Speaking of the center, they have 3 centers actually. Robert Williams, Enes Kanter, and Al Horford. So this would be a bit interesting on how to see kung paano yung magiging rotation dito. They really, in my opinion, they improved a lot compared to last season, compared to having for just Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker. I think they added depth. So, they were 7th in the Eastern Conference last season. I think they're gonna be better than 7th this year. Reserve players to watch. I'm high on Peyton Pritchard. The reason ko ba't nilagay ko siya tong sign na to is I think he's gonna be the spark plug in this team. He had a great preseason, by the way, and also summer league. Last season he did well naman. For limited time, I saw, well, napansin ko sa fantasy he had a few games where he was actually quite good. So we'll see. We'll see if what he can do this year. Also, Enes Kanter, this guy is a double machine. I think he's really good. Pag pumasok sa court, parang easy double. Although it's defensive wise, it's just medyo mahina siya doon. But the thing is, I think he's gonna be a great reserve for this Boston Celtics. The way he had his role 2 years or 3 years ago. Josh Richardson is a good addition. This guy could actually not create his own shot, but basically create for others. Maganda yung assist. I think maganda yung assist niya. And also, 3-point shooting. If he could get his 3-point shooting form back when he was in Miami, it's a good addition to this Boston Celtics team. Fantasy players to watch, definitely Robert Williams. I think sobrang taas niya in terms of ADP. Masyadong mataas yung draft. Masyadong mataas kung saan siya dinadraft. So, I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure kung worth it. That's why I want to watch it. Although, okay yung block beats niya. Efficiency. He's effective. And also, his field goal percentage is effective. And also, he rebounds well. Plus, taas ang upside niya in terms of blocks. Next is Dennis Schroeder. I'm thinking, will this be a year in which he would rebound from his performance last time? He had not a dismal performance, but a subpar performance compared to his time in OKC. So if he could get that form, then that would be great for the Boston Celtics. Yeah, when he was in OKC, he was 18 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. Back in LA, he had 15 points, although he improved his assists to 6 assists. So hopefully this year he could do that. And then, they say that's a key question going into this. Plus, also, I think the improvements of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Can Jason Tatum not just be an all-star, but a top 10 player? So we'll have to see that if he could actually succeed on that. Also, bench upgrades. Now, according to Hoop Stats, they averaged 30.7 bench points per game last season, the third lowest in the league. So I guess this year, with all the upgrades, would be more than that. They could have more points, basically, for the Boston Celtics. So I guess in terms of off season, they had a great off season plus the addition of this. Yeah, I guess the bench is better now compared to last season. Did they have notable departures? Basically, just Kemba Walker, Tristan Thompson, Fournier, Semi Ojeleye, and Taco Fall. Carson Edwards too. So, I guess lahat yun napalitan nila, and some of it is even an upgrade. So, hopefully, bench points would not be a problem for this team next season. Now, let's go to Brooklyn Nets. Now, the story here is basically Kyrie Irving. In terms of fantasy, I highly don't suggest you picking Kyrie Irving. Even if he plays, I think kung pinayagan siya, which by the way, hindi siya pinayagan, half of the games in the NBA would be played at home, and hindi siya allowed maglaro at home. So basically, that's 41 games in fantasy lang, if lalaroin niya lahat. But the thing is, I think hindi na rin siya tinuloy ng well, ngayon, hindi siya allowed in team sports. So I guess he's not gonna play. So in the projected starting lineup would be James Harden, Joe Harris, Bruce Brown, Kevin Durant, and I think Blake Griffin. I think they would pick Blake Griffin over Nicholas Claxton, in my opinion. I think they might start kind of like small ball here. Kasi with this projected lineup, they basically have a good defense. They have a 3-pointer in Joe Harris. They have a good perimeter defender in Bruce Brown. Plus, not a rim protector, but at least someone who could defend outside that much, or could at least switch, is Blake Griffin plus Kevin Durant. So I'm thinking they might go here. But if not, basically I think Bruce Brown would go to the bench, and then insert Kyrie if Kyrie was gonna play. If not, they might put Oh my God, sino yung inad nilang isang center? May inad silang isang center. Forgot the other center that they add here. Oh, LaMarcus Aldridge. Yeah, they might put LaMarcus Aldridge over Blake Griffin, uh, or Nicholas Claxton. Pero I think Nicholas Claxton might do well at the next end of the season, or the second half of the season. You know, pag madami na silang na laro. Okay, notable additions: LaMarcus Aldridge, Patty Mills, James Johnson for defense. That's actually good. Paul Millsap too, and Javon Carter. Javon Carter is a defensive-minded point guard, which I find a great addition. Bruno Fernandez, Juancho Hernan Gomez, DeAndre Bembry, and then this one, guys, I'm really high on this one, Cameron Thomas, the co-Summer League MVP. This guy's a bucket. He can score. Also in preseason, he showed that. So in your fantasy watch list, might as well just watch this just to check it out. Yeah, I think he's gonna have a great season this year. I think he's gonna have a lot of opportunities. I think the Nets would actually play him. Our reserve players to watch is basically Nicholas Claxton, Patty Mills. If he's not gonna start and he's gonna come off the bench, I think it's gonna be good. He could handle the second unit, him, and then Cameron Thomas would be your shooting guard. They have Paul Millsap also in the second unit. That would be a good second unit. Yeah, you see that's it. And Paul Millsap, I'm actually interested to know. Paul Millsap had a great role in Denver last season as a veteran presence there. Plus also a good, a reliable power forward, I should say. So I want to see kung anong role niya ngayon dito sa Brooklyn. A lot of veterans are here, so we'll see. Next is players to watch. Joe Harris. Yes, Joe Harris had a not so good season last season. So if you want 3 points in points, basically yun na naman binibigyan sa fantasy. Plus medyo later rounds siya, so I think Joe Harris is a great pick. I think also with Kyrie out, he might have additional touches, you know. So we'll see. And then Patty Mills, like I said, it's gonna be the sixth man here, and also Cameron Thomas. I'm really looking for Cameron Thomas, especially in deep leagues. I think you're gonna have tons of opportunity. So yeah, just watch out for that, you know. Next is key questions going to the season. Will Kyrie play this season? Yeah, that's basically the storyline. Here's the funny thing with Brooklyn. Even if Kyrie doesn't play, they're still I think the top two team in the East, you know. So if Kyrie doesn't play, they still have James Harden. They have the whole team, pare. Basically Kyrie is a luxury, you know. It's nice to have him, but without him, I think they could still play really well. So yeah, will we see Kyrie this season? I'm not sure. I'm actually curious. What do you guys think about his stance on being not vaccinated? So yeah, I'd like to know your stance regarding that. Do you think it's logical? You know, okay naman yung stand niya. Nagigets ko naman yung point niya. Pero for him, I don't know. Medyo weird si Kyrie. So yeah, flat earther. Anyway, Kyrie. So we'll see that. If he plays though, this team would be really good. I'll give you a fun fact lang pala. Almost forgot. This three, James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving, played for only 202 minutes together, and their offensive rating was 119.6 per 100 possession, which is really, really high. So we only had, I think, a total of parang 8 games lang ata they played last season together. But in total, they just played 202 minutes together. So can you imagine if you get this three in the whole season? Kung gaano sila kalakas. Diba? Sobrang unfair. So, well. Anyway, next is who starts at 5? Like I said, would it be Blake Griffin, Aldridge, Millsap, or Claxton? We'll see. We'll see who will be their center mainstay. But I think it would be a per matchup basis. So, feeling ko, if they're going big, they might have Aldridge. If they want to go small, they're going to go with Blake and Millsap. If they want someone athletic, fast, they'll go with Claxton. Alright, and yeah, basically yun. Key question number 3 is, will we get to see the big 3 play more minutes? Well, will we get to see the big 3? That's the question pala. Because as of the moment, Kyrie's not going to be back soon. So, yeah. I'll check that out. Okay, I guess hindi gumagana yung chat box. Kasi hindi siya lumalabas yung mga chat nyo. Anyway, nakikita ko naman. So, if you guys are chatting or commenting, I'll get to see that. Although, ito palang mahirap sa cross-post, no? Ngayon ko napansin. Pag nag-post ka sa isa, nagko-comment sila sa isa, hindi mo nakikita yung comment sa other side. So, I'm kinda having a hard time on seeing who's actually commenting or there are peeps watching. So we'll see. All right. Anyway, let's move on to our next team. We have the Charlotte Hornets. Okay, this is an exciting team. Why? They're young, they're fun to watch, and they're, I should say, very athletic. Let me just check the stream. Okay, they're very athletic. The highlight of this team is, as we all know, is basically LaMelo Ball. Fantasy opinion, I think LaMelo Ball is a bit high right now. Sobrang taas ng ADP niya. It's going in the second round, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's too high. But then again, he had a great rookie season, diba? So, plus, I think they're really going to give everything to him. They see the whole offense would go through him. He's going to be a big facilitator this year. So, I'm not really sold with this ADP in fantasy, pero we'll see. So his projected starting lineup would be LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, Miles Bridges, and Mason Plumlee. I think Mason Plumlee was a good addition in this team. They had Cody Zeller last year. Cody Zeller is decent, don't get me wrong. That guy is decent, and he's been in Charlotte for quite some time. So he's a legend in Charlotte. But Mason Plumlee is actually a good passer. He's a smart and willing passer. Plus also a good rebounder. He had a decent stat line in fantasy, especially in deep leagues last year. So anyway, notable additions is Kelly Oubre, Mason Plumlee, Ish Smith, Wes Uwundu, and James Bouknight. Ito pa, isa pa. James Bouknight, hindi siya masyado na pag-uusapan, pero I think he might have a role as a 3-point specialist or just a scorer off the bench this season. So watch out for that. Fantasy-wise, hindi pa until he starts showing progress. But real-life value, I think he has a value in this Charlotte Hornets team. Kai Jones, JT Tor, and Scottie Lewis round out basically the draft picks that they had. They had 4 draft picks this season. Ang dami. Reserve players to watch is PJ Washington. I think he's going to be like the spark of this team or like the heart. Parang nakikita ko sa kanya medyo di naman Harrell na vibe, pero he's gonna definitely rebound, defend. He's gonna play his heart out every game that he plays here. So watch out for that guy. And then Kelly Oubre would be the 6th man for this team in my opinion, and also James Bouknight. Kelly Oubre, I'm really interested kasi I wanna know kung ano yung magiging role niya dito. I think last year he was medyo hindi ganun kaganda yung year niya kasi they asked a lot from him. So I guess this year with less pressure, especially with Gordon Hayward starting, with a lot of players that basically score, can create for themselves, I think siguro mawawala ng konti yung burden kay Kelly Oubre and he could go back to what he does best, basically defend and score or shoot 3. So we'll see this year. Naalala ko yung may hawak kay Oubre last year sa isa kong fantasy, talagang pinamimigay siya halos eh. Taas na kasi kinuha niya. Anyway, maybe it's different this year. Fantasy players to watch, Gordon Hayward. Why? I think he's gonna do he is the number 1 option. Okay, LaMelo would facilitate, but he is the number 1 option in my opinion. Plus also Terry Rozier. Dude, this guy, the reason kung ba't feeling ko masyadong mataas yung ADP ni LaMelo is because basically Gordon Hayward and Rozier is here. Scary Terry, man, I think for 2-3 years wala masyadong pumapansin sa kanya. Well, sa fantasy na salihan ko, parang underrated siya. But the thing is, Rozier has been very good the past few years. So I don't think he's gonna stop with the new contract that they gave him. Am I right? They gave him a new contract. Yeah, I know they gave him a new contract. They re-signed him this year. Baka ibang player yun. Anyway, yeah, they just recently re-signed him. So I guess he's gonna have more touches, normal Scary Terry stat line or normal Scary Terry shit that he does. Anyway, PJ Washington, fantasy player to watch. We'll see. Last season he was okay. Hopefully this season may improvement siya. And also Kelly Oubre. Depending on his role, I think he's gonna be better compared to last season. Efficiency wise, stat numbers wise, I think so too. Yeah. And key questions going into the season: LaMelo Ball's year 2 progress. We'll see. He had a great rookie year. That's why he won Rookie of the Year. Let's see kung ano pa yung levels of improvement ang magagawa this season. If he steps up big, he had 15, 7, 7. Kung di yung nagkakamali. last season. He had 16-6-6 ang stats niya last season, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. If he could improve on this, plus defense, oh, he's gonna be really good. Now, next question is Gordon Hayward's health. He missed 29 games last season, plus the play-in tournament. It's one of the reasons I think kaya hindi sila umabot ng playoffs. But, if he could be healthy, or at least fresh, going to the last part of the season, this team would definitely be in the playoffs. I think they're one of the most improved teams here in the East. Their 10th place finish last season, I think it's going to be better this season. They're going to really get in the playoffs, in my opinion. And also the young guys who will contribute. Sino ba yung mga mag-explode sa kanila? Like I said, would it be James Bouknight? What would be the improvements of PJ Washington and Miles Bridges? So, yan yung mga questions na they have to see. And I think they have a good balance of veteran and also young players to advance to the playoffs. Okay, now let's go to our next team, Chicago Bulls. Now, Chicago Bulls had a very interesting offseason. Out of all the teams, I think they added star power. Sila yung pinakamadaming inad na star power dito. So you can see they added Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan, Derek Jones Jr., Alex Caruso, Tony Bradley, and then Ayo Dosunmu. I think they're good. Yung dalawang addition na ginawa na, which was Lonzo and DeMar DeRozan, I think they were the splash, if I'm not mistaken, of this year's off-season. Although we'll check that out later. So yeah, there. And then projected starting lineup would be Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Derek Jones Jr. in my opinion, and also Nikola Vucevic. Now the reason I'm putting Derek Jones Jr. here is because Patrick Williams is injured. So I think Derek Jones would be the one filling the spot for Patrick Williams. Oh, by the way, Patrick Williams is actually a very good defensive player. Kailangan niya improve ng konti offense niya, you know. He didn't have a really good offensive year, but in terms of reality, he had a good defensive year. Actually, when you put him in the starting lineup, he is their best defender out of all this. He and Lonzo Ball. I think Lonzo Ball's the best, and then Patrick Williams. They'll be the one anchoring the defense. Because as we know, Zach LaVine, DeMar, and also Vucevic are more of an offensive player. So ito yung mga offensive heavy player. Vucevic isn't really a great paint defender. Alam mo yun, I should say. So also DeMar DeRozan at this stage in his career, I don't think he's gonna defend really well pa. And Zach LaVine is an offensive player talaga. Reserve players to watch, Kobe White. I think he's gonna be the sixth man here once he gets back to play. Kasi kung hindi siya magiging sixth man dito, wala siya paglalagyan sa team na to. So I guess Derek White is Kobe White. Kobe White is basically their sixth man, and then Patrick Williams. Well, since nandito siya reserve, I will have to put him here, and Alex Caruso. Well, he's going to be a fan favorite and also basically the energizer. Sure ako energizer yan. They had a good plus minus. He was a good plus minus teammate with LeBron. LeBron loves him as a teammate. And I think he's really going to do well with his tenacious defense. And I think mag-improve ang offense niya. With the roles that he's going to be given, I think he's gonna have a really, really, if not great year, a good year. And if you're gonna look at the bench of the Chicago Bulls, wala ka masyadong pupulutin eh. Wala kang kukunin eh. So I guess Kobe White and Caruso would be the ones handling the second unit talaga. Fantasy players to watch. Okay, mali. Sorry, Gordon Hayward. Hindi ko pala na-edit yan. Anyway, Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso for me. Aside from Zach LaVine, which I think would be consistent, they would have a good offensive season again, and also Vucevic. I'm skeptical with DeMar DeRozan though. I'm not sure kung paano siya maglalaro. I don't think last season kasi he basically had all the touches in Spurs, 'di ba? Wala man siyang ibang kalaban nun. So this year, I'm not sure kung ano magiging role niya. That's why I'm not really suggesting. I'm not a big fan of DeRozan anyway, so I'm not suggesting him in any fantasy. But if there are players to watch, I'll go with Lonzo Ball. I think he's gonna have a great year this year. He's basically the one who's going to facilitate everyone. He's a smart point guard. I do believe he's a smart point guard. Zach LaVine would be efficient in my opinion kasi may point guard na siya ngayon. Past few years in Chicago, wala siyang point guard. So he has to carry the ball, basically do everything. But now, as Lonzo Ball is here, so there's a big chance na Lonzo Ball will have a great year, and also Zach LaVine. And then Alex Caruso, I think late round value, Alex Caruso might give you something, especially in deep leagues. So do watch out. Do watch out for Alex Caruso. Next is chemistry issues. Key questions going in is how will the new additions jive? How will DeRozan, Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, and Vucevic jive together? Kasi ito, basically these are 4 stars, di ba? So paano sila mag-jive together? How will they play together? So we have to see that. Also bench depth. So that's going to be a question. Looking at their roster right now, they have Troy Brown Jr., Derek Jones Jr. Who else? Aside from the rookie, Ayo Dosunmu, Javonte Green. So medyo kulang sila sa depth in my opinion. Out of the starting 5, parang wala ka na halos spark going in, or like wala kang hard hitter in the second unit. So I guess they're expecting a big year for Kobe White, and they paid Alex Caruso. So I bet hindi nila na-expect na defend lang si Alex Caruso niyan, di ba? Also, Tony Bradley is a good backup. So I guess they had a good pickup on Tony Bradley. He did well backing up Gobert, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. Also, when he was in Philadelphia, he actually did well. Tama ba? Si Gobert. Yep. Gobert and then Philadelphia. Alright. So, yeah, that's basically it. 11, I think they're gonna make the playoffs. If you're gonna ask me, they're gonna make the playoffs. I don't think they're gonna be 11. Worst case scenario, they'll be in the play-in again. But I guess they could actually get for the 7th or 6th spot. Next is the Cleveland Cavaliers. First team na, I think this team is still rebuilding right now. They had notable additions is Lauri Markkanen, Ricky Rubio, and Evan Mobley. The preseason, Lauri Markkanen has looked great, but for the past few years, dude, this guy has been looking great in the preseason. Pero pagdating sa regular season, this guy nawawala siya. You know, I had this player twice in my fantasy, so medyo skeptical ako sa kanya, especially with the overloaded front court of Cleveland Cavaliers. We'll have to see the start of the season kung how will Lauri Markkanen play in this. Now, the projected starting lineup is Darius Garland, Colin Sexton, Isaac Okoro, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen. Now, a lot of people are asking bakit si Evan Mobley kinuha niya with the 3rd pick. Ba't pa sila kumuha ng center after signing Jarrett Allen? So, we'll have to see if Mobley is good as an power forward. Pero I think they're thinking of him as the future in the center. That's why it's a good question why they actually paid Jarrett Allen $100 million if they were drafting Evan Mobley. But we'll see kung ano mangyayari dito. Evan Mobley, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, doesn't shoot the ball really well in terms of 3. So, in terms of spacing, this would be interesting for the Cavaliers. Diba? Colin Sexton's been tearing offensively last year, ang ganda, solid. And then Darius Garland. So we'll have to see if Darius Garland would improve this year. I'm hoping to improve kasi hawak ko siya sa mga fantasy leagues ko eh. So I'm really hoping na mag-improve siya. Please. Hawak ko siya sa, I think, 2 of my leagues. Hawak ko siya. So medyo mataas ang ko sa kanya. Medyo mataas ang hopes ko for Darius Garland. Now, reserve players to watch, definitely Lauri Markkanen. I think he's going to be the 6th man. I think he's going to be the first player out of the bench, in my opinion, sa Cleveland Cavaliers. Aside from Kevin Love. Speaking of Kevin Love, we'll talk about him more later. Also, Ricky Rubio, that's a good pick. That's a great addition to handle the second unit. Someone who will just pass and facilitate. Based sa kanilang depth chart, wala silang ibang point guard. So I think Ricky Rubio would be a great reserve for this team. Kevin Love, that's one of the questions later that going into the season. Ano ba gagawin lang kay Kevin Love? Will they buy him out? Will they stick with his contract? Will they trade him? So we'll see. And then Cedi Usman. Cedi Usman has been hindi ko masabi kung anong tao na to. Alam mo, he has good games last season. He has bad games. I don't think, hindi ko alam kung 3 or D player siya, kung sadyang scorer siya. No, but I think the Cleveland Cavaliers likes him. That's why nandiyan pa rin siya hanggang ngayon. They're not even trading him. I don't think they're even offering him. So, yeah, reserve players to watch. Also, notable mention for me is Dylan Wilder. and Dean Wade. Just check them out. Last year when they had playing time, they really did well. So yeah, in terms of fantasy, yeah, fantasy is Laurie Marketing, Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen, and Cedi Usman. The reason I'm putting Laurie Marketing on the players watch is I'd like to see if bus lang ba yung preseason niya or talagang okay yung game niya this coming season. Kasi based on the head coach, he's been talking a lot about this guy. You know, he likes this guy. So we'll see. Evan Mobley, mas mataas ang ADP niya compared kay Jarrett Allen. So, medyo curious ako dun. We'll see kung ano gagawin niya. And then, Cedi Usman. I think Cedi Usman would give you good value when he plays. Okay? Although, yeah, he's gonna give you scoring and 3 points. Yeah. Efficiency though, not sure. Key questions going to the season. Will Colin Sexton be an all-star? I think he deserves to be an all-star. Or we'll see kung ma-maintain niya yung level of play niya. Yan ang biggest question. If he does maintain his all-star, mapapaisip ang Cleveland if they're gonna keep him or they're gonna trade him. Kasi right now, I think they're thinking of trading this guy. They've been shopping him around for quite some time, along with Kevin Love. Okay, now the front court logjam. Dude, they have Kevin Love there. They have Markkanen. They have Jarrett Allen. So, ang daming front court na nandun. They also have Dean Wade. He's also a good rebounder. So, that's one of the questions going in. Who will play? Plus, also what type of schemes are they going to do? Will the Mobley, Jarrett Allen tandem pay off? Diba? So, that's one of the questions going into the season. Plus, also, again, will Markkanen revive his career here? Change of scenery. Mare-revive ba career niya sa Cleveland? That's one of the questions. And yes, there you have it. The Kevin Love future. Like I said, iti-trade ba siya? Iba-buyout ba yung contract niya? Will he be there just for veteran presence or will he play? Sabi nga ni Jerry Colangelo that he wasn't fit when he entered the US camp. So, will this be a revenge season for him? Napapakita niyang fit siya? We'll see. Will he have playing time and prove himself that he could still play? So, opinion ko dito, I think he's gonna play. He's gonna play a lot of games from the start of the season. Kasi feeling ko isa-showcase siya ng Cleveland Cavaliers. They'd like to see his form. In my opinion, I don't think they're gonna sit him down. Sitting him down would not give him value, in my opinion. So, yeah, he might play. He might play this season for them. Not just a veteran presence in the team. Okay, let's move to our Detroit Pistons, which was 15. Oh, yeah. Is this a playoff team? I honestly don't think they're gonna be a playoff team. You know? 13th Eastern Conference, yeah. Mostly baka 10, 11 till the bottom feeders of Eastern Conference. Dun sila maglaro. I think they're good with it. They're rebuilding. They're basically rebuilding, so we'll see. But the playoffs, I think this team, chances are very slim. Detroit Pistons, last in the Eastern Conference last season, and they got basically the number 1 pick. So notable additions: Kelly Olynyk, Trey Lyles, Cade Cunningham, Isaiah Livers, and Luka Garza. Okay, notable addition, Kelly Olynyk. Dude, this guy was on fire in the last 2 weeks of the regular season. So yung nakakuha sa kanya sa Houston. Na-Houston siya, diba? He was tearing it apart. Solid siya sa fantasy. He did well. So I guess this is a good addition for a Detroit Pistons team. I'm not sure yet if he's gonna start or Isaiah Stewart, but for now, I'll stick with Isaiah Stewart starting. So Killian Hayes, Cade Cunningham, Sadiq Bey, Jeremy Grant, and Isaiah Stewart will be the starting 5. Now, Jeremy Grant, he played majority, if I'm not mistaken, in small forward last season. So now they're moving him since Blake Griffin was still with them last season. Kaya siya naging technically small forward. But I think this season is gonna play as a power forward with Sadiq Bey going into the starting lineup. I'm really interested and curious with the Hayes-Cunningham connection, which we'll tackle later. Reserve players to watch, definitely Kelly Olynyk, and then Hamidou Diallo. I think ito si Hamidou Diallo, hindi masyadong napag-uusapan. He's been really good. Last season, he was actually good. If I'm not mistaken, he was like 4th in terms of scoring sa teams. Tama ba? Sorry guys, if fact check ko lang fact checker ako eh. May gawa mag-fact check eh. So, check natin ha. Check natin kung ano stats ni Hamidou Diallo. Fact check natin. Anyway, I think he's gonna be the 6th man. for this Detroit Pistons team. Okay, let's see. Season. Yeah, he had 11 points with 5 rebounds and basically 5 rebounds. 46% shooting. And then he connected on 39% of his 3-point shots, which is actually not bad. Wow. So, I'm picking this guy as D. 6 man. Notable mention then is Saban Lee. I think he did well last season on his limited time playing. Also Josh Jackson. So yun yung mga reserve players to watch. And fantasy players to watch would be Cade Cunningham. He's gonna have a good year kasi parang siya, Jeremy Grant will be the ones handling the scoring in my opinion here. Sa kanila ibibigay yung buong scoring load for the Detroit team. Si Ivanders, pati si Migo andito. Hello pare, what's up? Mga talong gamers natin, yung mga katambayan natin. What's up boys? Welcome sa ating Watch Sports podcast. Anyway, going back, fantasy players to watch. Kamusta pala yung game nyo? Kamusta yung game? Okay ba? Nakita ko nag-espadaan kayo kanina. Okay, so Isaiah Stewart, also a player to watch. Daming high sa kanya. Personally, hindi ako fan ni Isaiah Stewart. So, I'd like to see that. Saddiq Bey, will he improve this year? What would be his improvements? Yan, I'm actually interested to see if he would really shine this season. And they're high on this guy, you know. Detroit is really high on this guy. He had 12 points, 4 rebounds, an assist, 38% on 3 points and 40% field goal. I guess it's okay. It's better than Killian Hayes, you know. I'm not really a fan of Killian Hayes, kaya medyo skeptical ako in terms of Killian Hayes and their tandem with Cunningham. Anyway, Kelly Olynyk, yes. If Isaiah Stewart doesn't work, I think Kelly Olynyk would play a lot of minutes, you know. Will the Hayes-Cunningham tandem work? You guys, I'm asking you right now, do you think it will work? Hayes and Cunningham, wala akong idea honestly. Hindi ako fan ni Killian Hayes. Manapal kong games sa kanya last season, plus 3 seasons niya, hindi talaga ako fan. I'm not a big fan of Killian Hayes, but we'll see. Will Saddiq Bey improve? Yeah, that's one of the questions. If this guy improves, he will be the future forward, maybe the 3-and-D of the Detroit Pistons. Saddiq Bey, Cunningham, and Isaiah Stewart, they're technically the future of the Detroit Pistons. If Saddiq Bey improves a lot, and kung okay nga yung hype kay Stewart, then I guess Detroit Pistons wouldn't be the last team in the Eastern Conference, but I still don't think they're a playoffs team this season. Maybe next year. So, we'll see. Alright, let's move. Indiana Pacers. Yes, Indiana Pacers. They have a new coach with Rick Carlisle. Also, they have a 13th pick, Chris Duarte, and yung mga additional sa kanya. Kiefer Skies, Isaiah Jackson, and Torrey Craig. Those are the notable additions in this team. The projected starting lineup would be Malcolm Brogdon, Jeremy Lamb, Justin Holiday, Domantas Sabonis, and Miles Turner at the start of the season. Why? Because TJ Warren and Caris LeVert is injured. But if maglalaro sila, I think there will be both in the starting lineup with Jeremy Lamb playing as the 6th man. Yes, and the reserve players to watch, aside from TJ Warren and Caris LeVert, is TJ McConnell and Chris Duarte. This guy is the oldest player drafted this year. I think he's NBA ready. In the preseason, he's been doing well. Binibigyan siya ng playing time doon. But then again, it's the preseason. Hindi natin pwede sabihin, porket ang angas niya doon, maangas siya sa regular season. Again, some of the players that they're playing against are not really starters, or some of them are just trying to get into the it's basically just preseason. It's semi-friendly games, you know what I mean. So, but he did well. Chris Duarte looks good, so I think he would be reserve player to watch, and he would have a role in this Indiana Pacers team, which I think again would make the playoffs. They lost in the play-in last season against Washington, but I think this year they would get into the playoffs, comfortably get into the playoffs. With a new coach, Rick Carlisle has been really good, so I'm interested kasi malaman kung anong gagawin niya with the combination of Sabonis and Miles Turner. So that's something to watch this season. And also, okay. And yeah, fantasy players was definitely demand to Sabonis. Ang dami nagka-question is who's better, Bam Adebayo, Sabonis? I saw this one post. Sabonis, Bam Adebayo, AD, and yeah, I think those three. So, parang tinatanong ko sino una mong pipiliin. I think out of those three, definitely it's AD and then Sabonis. But the thing is, if AD is constantly injured, I'll go with Sabonis. This guy has been really good, you know. I like watching this guy. Medyo natutuwa ako sa kanya. Also, TJ Warren. Yes, we'll see. When he plays, I think he's gonna be back soon. Si Levert ang walang timeline, if I'm not mistaken. And then Chris Duarte. Chris Duarte might give you basically late round great values. So, if ever kailangan mo ng scoring and rebounding, and I think 3-point shooting, kung hindi nagkakamali, Chris Duarte is the guy for you in later round. But you have to watch it first, okay? I'm not saying pick him up now. It's just a suggestion. I think he's gonna have a role to play in this Pacers team. Now, here's the question. Can Sabonis be a consistent all-star? That's one of the questions. This team is built around Sabonis, and technically, it should be, kasi he's the star right now. But with a new head coach, we'll see baka bagong mga plays nila. So, we'll see about that. And also, the Sabonis-Turner combination. Will Rick Carlisle stick to this? What will he do now? Miles Turner is a very good shot blocker. Not a good rebounder. But he shoots threes, you know. Ang problema pa rin nila spacing eh. I think with this team, hindi ganun kagandang 3-point shooting nila, and that's, in my opinion, that's what they're missing. So, we'll see. We'll see this season kung ano gagawin ni Rick Carlisle and if Sabonis can be consistent as an all-star, because last season, he was a monster. Alright, fantasy. Next is staying healthy. Brogdon only played 56 games last season. Turner only played 47 games. And then Levert, 35 games, with Warren playing 4 games. So if they could stay healthy, this is a very good team in the Eastern Conference, you know. I don't think when they're healthy, you could put them in the top 4 conversation, you know, in the upper tier of the Eastern Conference bracket. So question is, they just have to stay healthy. And next is the Carlisle effect. We'll see kung anong gagawin ni Carlisle dito. He's been known as a good defensive coach. He's actually pretty creative too when it comes to offense. So I'm really interested kung anong gagawin niya with Domantas Sabonis and Miles Turner combination. Because for the past few years, it's been okay, but they have to make it a great combination to advance in the later rounds of the playoffs and get a chance to actually win this conference. Next is the Miami Heat. Now, Miami Heat added basically old people. They basically added veteran people this season. The notable mention is Kyle Lowry, PJ Tucker, and Markieff Morris. Now, notable key departures for them are Goran Dragic, Precious Achichua, Trevor Ariza, also an old guy, along with Andre Iguodala, Nemanja Beljeka. Hindi ko talaga alam kung paano ipopronounce. So guys, if you know how to pronounce this name, kindly help me out. And Kendrick Nunn. Okay, out of all those departures, honestly, I think the biggest one is Goran Dragic. Basically, he's the starting. And also Kendrick Nunn. Yung dalawa na yun. They made really good impact last season. The starting 5 would be Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler, PJ Tucker, and Bam Adebayo. Now, reserve players to watch, I think, spark plug nila would be Tyler Hero. Sorry, typo yan. And he's also going to be the 6th man. I'm really high on this guy. Dude, last year, hawak ko din siya. Tunto ako sa kanya. For some reason, I'm just a fan. So, I'm really hoping he's gonna have a great year. But also the reviews from Spoelstra, and he gained pound. If I'm not mistaken, lumaki siya this season eh. So, he gained a few pounds. Medyo naging batak siya. So, I think he's gonna do well. Now, Max Strus, don't sleep on this guy. He's been good during the Summer League. In my opinion, dapat part siya nung what do you call that? The Summer League team. All Summer League team. Pero I think he got robbed with that. But he was really, really good. Also last season, in the limited times na naglaro siya, he was good. And basically another player to watch, Victor Oladipo. If he's healthy, and he could get back at least 75% of his form, that would be good. So this would be a great team. Imagine mo, you have Hero Oladipo handling the second unit, and then this is your starting five. You have a very, very good team. And also, let's not forget Markieff Morris. Maybe fantasy-wise, hindi napapansin, but he has a great effect on a team. Plus, also PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker, you know, the toughness, the defense. Yes, hindi siya ganun ka-mobile, but dude, Miami Heat survived with Ariza and Iguodala last season. I think so far, medyo ka-level pa niya in terms of defense yung dalawa na yun eh. So, I think he's still better. I would say he's even better. I mean, nasa championship last season eh. I'll put that out. And also, one player na masasabi kong key to them, or maybe one of the reasons kung ba't nila pinakawalan yung other guards is Gabe Vincent. Last season, he was also good in the limited playing times that they have. So, they have very good guards in Gabe Vincent, Hero, and Max Strus. KZ Okpala, hindi ako masyado fan. I don't know. I'm not really a fan of KZ Okpala. Napalagay siya last season, so medyo ano. But no, let me know your thoughts about KZ Okpala. Next, fantasy players to watch. Bam Adebayo. I think he's gonna have a monster year this season. Tyler Hero. Yes. Bounce back season. Definitely sa kanya. And Kyle Lowry. Dude, this guy's old. But he was still productive last season. He just got injured plus nirest siya. But I think with new teammates, playing with a friend, playing for something, I think he's gonna play for a championship this season. Yep. He would definitely be a good fantasy player to watch. And also Victor Oladipo, when he's healthy, sinastash ko siya. So when he's healthy, I think he's gonna have a great impact on the court in reality and also in fantasy. Okay, now here, key questions going in is Kyle Lowry effect. I guess nag-improve siya in the point guard spot, you know. Kyle Lowry last season, 17 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, 39% on threes against Dragic and Nunn. Dragic had 13 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 37 on threes, while Nunn had 15 rebounds, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. So, I guess this is a big upgrade in terms of the PG position plus the defense. I mean, hindi na siya ganun kagaling dumipensa, but the thing is, he's still a good defender. Also, we'd like to see if chemistry with Butler. I think they're gonna do well. Hindi naman sila magka-clash, feeling ko. So, yeah. And next question is Hero's improvement. Like I said, I'm really high on this guy. Last season, he had 15 points, 15 rebounds, 3 assists. So, we'll see how he will improve this season. Kamusta improvement niya? I'm really excited to see kung sobrang taas ng improvement niya this season. But, you know what? That's something to check in this coming season. Next is Oladipo's future and performance. He signed a minimum contract this year, so I guess pag naglaro siya, he's gonna push himself to do well. Why? Kasi it's gonna be a contract year. So he wants to get a bigger contract next season, so he has to really play well. So a question lang is, will he recover from the injury? Sabi, he will be back by November. Kamusta yung health niya? If he's gonna stay healthy and perform, like I said, 75% of what he did a few seasons ago, then yes, this team would be scary, and at the same time, he would get paid. Okay, move on to our next. Milwaukee Bucks, the champs, the Eastern Conference champs, and the NBA champs. Okay, notable additions: Grayson Allen, Rodney Hood, George Hill. Key departures: PJ Tucker, Brian Forbes, and Jeff Teague. Alright, now, speaking of key departures, I think ang masakit lang dito is PJ Tucker. Brian Forbes going back to the San Antonio Spurs. They lost a 3-point specialist, which I think they got back with George Hill. Well, not as 3-point proficient, but still a good 3-point shooter. And also Rodney Hood, when he was healthy, he was actually a decent 3-point shooter. Jeff Teague, he was end of the bench guy, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But PJ Tucker, his toughness and his defense, yan ang mga miss ng Milwaukee Bucks. So that's a big loss. I think that's the gap na hindi nila na-fill with this off-season. Grayson Allen is not really that much of a defender. He's a decent 3-point shooter. Mahilig lang talaga siya mambalya. He's not a dirty player. It's just mahilig siya manakit. So, yeah, but that's a big spot to lose PJ Tucker, you know. So, okay, wait lang. Check ko lang tong live if it's still working. Yep, it's still working. So, Hiram is here. O'Shea, hello, hi. Hindi ko lang kung alam yung sabihin, pero hi Hiram. Projected starting lineup would be Drew Holiday, Grayson Allen, since Dante DiVincenzo is injured. But when he comes back, I'm guessing Dante would be back in the starting lineup. And then Chris Middleton and Giannis, 2 forwards, and then Brook Lopez. Now, reserve players to watch is Grayson Allen, George Hill, Pat Connaughton, and Dante DiVincenzo. Now, Grayson Allen, I think, is a good player. I think he's gonna have more time here. The reason is, kung ba't siya binitawan, they were really stacked last season in Memphis. So with more opportunities to play in this team, I think he's gonna do well, especially in this team. Again, they're not gonna ask much from him. Just defend and score a 3. George Hill would be the 6th man here. He'll definitely be the one handling the second unit. And Pat Connaughton, this guy is basically just the workhorse. So I guess he's gonna be like the spark plug in teams. He's gonna give you maybe hustle plays and everything. Dante DiVincenzo, this guy has to improve. He had an okay season last season. He had an okay performance last season, but I'm asking more. I'm thinking that he has to give more to this team, you know. I guess they got a break by getting Drew Holiday last season. So that was one of the key reasons why they won the championship. This season, we'll talk about that in a while. Anyway, let's go to the fantasy players to watch. Dante DiVincenzo, like I said, if this guy could defend, get a good skill rate, steal rate niya, defend and shoot threes, give you a bit of rebounds, I think he's a good value. I think he's being drafted right now in round 8. Yeah, I think round 8. Around round 8, round 7 should be the draft. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Lumabas yung video niya kanina regarding, what do you call this? Regarding jumpers. His jumper looks good. It looks scary. Kung meron siyang jumper, I mean, damn, it'd be a perfect. So I think this year he's gonna have another great well, not super great, but he's gonna, in terms of assists, rebounds, and scoring, and also def stats, he's gonna be really good at that. Again, 3 points made, medyo mababa sa kanya. Plus, his free throw shooting. If he could actually improve those two, this guy is a fantasy gem. Chris Middleton, well, he's been consistent. He's been the most consistent player in Milwaukee last year, in my opinion. So, I guess this season it would still be the same. Drew Holiday, he is effective on fantasy and also in reality when he's playing. The only question is, when he gets injured, what happens? Okay. Key question, can they repeat as champions? Yeah, that's one of the storylines that we have to see. Now, a lot of teams in the East improved. So, with the off-season signings of Milwaukee, they honestly just stayed with what they have. I don't think they improved much with the personnel they added. In my opinion, nabawasan pa nga sila dahil nawala si PJ Tucker. So, medyo masakit yun. But, again, the question is, Bobby Portis is still there. They added Semi Ojeleye, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. So, we'll see. Pero from the looks of it, their bench, they're not really that deep. So, that's one of the questions. How will Giannis improve this season? Now, we've seen for the past 3 seasons how Giannis improved much. So, I don't know how he's going to improve more this season. Yan ang gusto ko makita. Will he improve his jump shots? Will he improve his 3-pointers? If he gets his jump shots at least, if not jump shot, 3 points or even the field goal percentage, this guy is really, really going to be great, you know. So I guess he's already great right now with the 50-point finals performance, diba? So I'm not doubting this guy. I just want to know, how will he improve more, diba? So you guys think, what do you guys think? How will Giannis improve more? And then, like I said, depth of the bench. It's one of the question marks this season. Aside from the starting 5, other reliable players in the bench would be just George Hill, Grayson Allen, and Bobby Portis, I think. Those are the big hitters. Rodney Hood, well, if he could get back in form, medyo unhealthy siya. Medyo injury prone siya the past few years. So, that's a big question. Saan sila kukuha ng scoring spark or scoring after the first 5, diba? So, I think one of the issue here is depth, in my opinion. Next is the New York Knicks. Oh, yeah, by the way, they were 6th in the Eastern Conference. Will they have a higher seeding here? I think they're gonna. I also mean that they're gonna win or they're gonna be the first in the Eastern Conference. I don't think so. There's so many teams right now. Brooklyn, I think, is the one who's gonna top this season in terms of wins sa Eastern Conference. I would put Milwaukee around 3 or 4, maybe that time. Why? Because of Philadelphia 76. Because of Philadelphia 76ers, which we'll talk about later. Next is New York. 4 key additions: Kemba Walker, Ivan Fournier, Dwayne Bacon, and then their draft picks. They have 4 draft picks then: Quentin Grimes, Roktas Hokobaitis, Miles McBride, and Jericho Sims. Now, let's talk about the starting lineup first. Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and if Mitchell Robinson is not injured, that would be Mitchell Robinson. But for now, that would be Nerlens Noel. And yes, they had a very good offseason. For Knicks fans there, guys, matawa kayo. You basically have a lot of upgrades this season. I think Kemba Walker is an upgrade. When he's healthy, he's really good. Evan Fournier would basically help too. So that's a good addition. Key players to reserve to watch. You still have Alex Burke, and also let's not forget about Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose has been good. Even if it's limited last season, he's been good. I mean, he's not MVP All-Star level, but then he's been really, really good. So I think he's going to be the sixth man for this team. And the good thing here is, with Kemba Walker here, medyo mababawasan ng load si Derrick Rose. At the same time, with Derrick Rose being as a good reserve, Kemba Walker, mababawasan din yung load niya. So in terms of health issues, I think magiging okay si Kemba and Derrick Rose this season. Also, Emmanuel Quickly, let's not forget, this guy has been good. This guy is really good. Puro good na sabi ko. Anyway, Quickly will, I think, is the spark plug of this team, if not the sixth man. He did show us good flashes last season, and I'm thinking that he would continue that going here. And also, let's not forget Alex Burks. Alex Burks had a good scoring season last season. So, diba? This is a stacked team. They really improved from last season, from their surprise 4th round finish. So, I'm not a Knicks fan, but I'm excited to watch them. I'm a Julius Randle fan. Fantasy players to watch: RJ Barrett. Yes, aside from Julius Randle, which I think is going to be really good. Now let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He had a bad playoffs, but he had a great regular season. So let's put him in a good regular season player. So I think he's gonna dominate again, just like he did last season in the regular season. Plus he got paid, so we'll see. Some players, when they get paid, nawawalan sila ng motivation, while others, when they get paid, they bloom. So we'll see if Randall will improve that. Mitchell Robinson is a player to watch. If he could improve his scoring abilities, I mean, defense-wise, he's an anchor. He's a defensive anchor of this team. But if he could add a bit of offense in his game, dude, this guy is going to be awesome. Also in fantasy, hindi ako masyado high sa kanya. That's why he's just one of the players to watch. Mataas ang upside niya in terms of blocks. So, we'll see. Derrick Rose, I think he's going to be productive. He's going to be efficient this year. With Kemba Walker in and him playing, I think they want him fresh in the playoffs. So, with him playing more of like not a very reserved role, but he's going to have an efficient year in my opinion. Kasi hindi naman niya kailangan ipilit lahat. Emmanuel Quickly too. When Kemba or Derrick Rose rest, he's gonna be the guy who's gonna have all the opportunities to play guard. Yeah. And I think in the first part of the season, or maybe mid part of the season, he's gonna have a lot of opportunities pag nire-rest na yung mga players na yan. Plus, he's a young player that I think the Knicks wants to develop. So, he's gonna have opportunities. Also, one key player reserved to check out is Obi Toppin. Hindi ako fan ni Obi Toppin, but in terms of power forward, wala na sila aside from Taj Gibson. So I guess Taj Gibson would be fighting for the minutes left by Randall. Now, can Randall duplicate his last season performance? That's one of the questions. If he does, then this team would be really good. Can Kemba Walker have resurgence here? If Kemba Walker has a great year, has a better year compared to last season, basically he gets the... Here, I'm checking the stats here. His first year, first first year in Boston, where he scored 19 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds per game. That would be already a great sign for this team. If he gets that kind of season, New York is good. And then again, Mitchell Robinson helped. He added 40 pounds from 240 to 80 siya, but he only played 31 games last season. So if he's gonna play more, that would be good for their defense. I mean, Nerlens Noel is okay, but Mitchell Robinson is the future of the Knicks center position as of the moment. Diyan sila nagre-rely, and also his defense is, yeah, it's really good. His defense is really, really good. Again, like I said, if he could improve more his offensive game, rebound a bit more, yeah, you basically have a good front court of Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson. Alright, let's move on to our next. Fourth in the Eastern Conference. I think with the additions that they have, yes, definitely the lowest they're gonna go is fourth. The highest that they could go, I'll still go with the second place, you know. Upper four pa rin sila. They would still finish top four in my opinion. It's just that I'm not sure where, you know. But yeah, definitely I don't think they're gonna go lower than fourth this season. Orlando Magic. A record last season 14th in the Eastern Conference. Now, they added young guys, and this is a rebuilding team, so I don't expect them to fight for a playoff spot. They had a new coach in Jamal Moslet. Notable additions is Robin Lopez. Robin Lopez. And then their fifth pick, Jalen Suggs and Franz Wagner. Alright. Cade Cunningham, Jalen Suggs, those are the two draft picks that I think would have a chance to win the ROI. Yes, silang dalawa. My opinion, why? Cade Cunningham would have all the touches in Detroit, and same with Jalen Suggs in Orlando. They would give basically the ball to Jalen Suggs, in my opinion. That's why this two has the biggest chance of winning the the Rookie of the Year for this season. Teka lang. Daldal. Kanina pa ako salita ng salita. Kamusta kayo guys? Okay pa ba kayo? Wait lang ano yun ako. Now, you might ask me, what about Jalen Green? There's Kevin Porter Jr. Plus, Jalen Green is offensive player. He's more of a scorer talaga. He has a chance in this conversation, but as of the moment, I'm gonna say Jalen Suggs and Cade Cunningham are the front runners of actually winning the Rookie of the Year. There's also other candidates, but for me, these two are on top of my list. You know, iba sa inyo magsabi, oh, Josh Giddey. A lot of people's high on Josh Giddey. You know, this is preseason. He's okay. He's not doing so good. You know, even in the summer league. So I'm not sure with the hype with Josh Giddey. A lot of people are high on Josh Giddey. Yeah. What else? In this, yeah. Yun lang. In terms of draft picks or like ROI. Anyway, going back, projected lineup: Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs, Terrence Rose, Chuma Okeke, and Wendell Ramos Carter Jr. Joke lang yun. I think this is the lineup that they would go. They'll try to see if mag-work yung Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs na combination. They could also put Gary Harris in this lineup and maybe either put Jalen Suggs or Cole Anthony as their sixth man. But in my opinion, they're gonna start with this one first. Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs as their backcourt tandem. Terrence Ross is gonna be there for 3-point shooting. Chuma Okeke. We'll see if he's gonna improve this season. I think they're banking na mag-improve siya this season. I'm not a fan of Chuma Okeke, but we'll see. Now, Wendell Carter Jr., when he played in Chicago for limited minutes, he actually showed glimpses that he's actually good. You know, he had good flashes in Chicago back then. So now he's the undisputed center in this lineup. So I guess he's gonna do well, honestly. Ang kalaban lang naman dito is Mo Bamba. We'll see if he improves. Laki niya, man. Si Mo Bamba. Grabe, laki niya. Kaba ng wingspan. So, ayan. Reserve players to watch, Markel Fultz. If he comes back, we'll see. Logjam yun in terms of playing time. So will they give him a chance to play point for Orlando? What are they going to do with Michael Fultz? It's one Markel Fultz. That's one of the questions. He actually had a good season when he played for Orlando. Naalala ko yung nag-pick na to sa draft. Tuwan-tuwa because he was sa 18-man league. Tuwan-tuwa sila, may sila like parang shit, jackpot, nakuha ko to later on, and then bang, na-injured siya. So he only played 8 games last season. He had 5 assists, 13 points, 3 rebounds, 39% field goals. So not bad for Fultz, diba? He's a decent guard. But he's still young naman. So anyway, Franz Wagner, also a 3-point shooter, playing with his brother, Moritz Wagner, who's actually now in Orlando. And yes, the player to watch too is Jonathan Isaac. Now, he is still the future of Orlando. He showed defensive player of the year potential when he was playing 2 seasons ago, right before he got injured. Now, we'll see. And that's one of the storylines kung anong mangyayari sa kanya this season for this team. Now, fantasy players to watch is, yes, Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs. Those two, yung combination kasi mostly nasa kanilang bola for this team. And Wendell Carter Jr. Wala may ibang center dito eh. Him, Robin Lopez would be the one backing him up. Also Mo Bamba. But I think they're banking on WCJ to have a great year. And yes, number 1 is youth. Question here is youth movement. How will the like I said, Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs tandem fit? Also, the youth players, Chuma Okeke, Wendell Carter Jr., Franz Wagner, who are the players here that are worth rebuilding, to be part of the future of Orlando Magic, diba? So this year, makikita nila yan. I think a lot of playing time would go to these young players compared to the veterans. Gary Harris would still play, MCW would still play, pero I think Orlando's gonna put a lot of playing time in their young guns. Now, this is the big question for them, in my opinion. How will Jonathan Isaac perform after the injury? He averaged 12.7 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 1.6 steals per game prior to the injury. Now, madami nagsabi kulang offensives. Kulang siya sa offense, puro defense siya. That was the thing that they were actually banking on last season to improve his offensive game. Now, when he comes back, it's basically his team. His and Jalen Suggs' team. So, it's we'll see how he will improve on the offensive end. And also, will he still be the same player defensively after his injury? Ayan. Let's move on. And now, this is the team that I want to talk about, Philadelphia 76ers. Let's start. Ben Simmons showed up in their latest, but basically showed up in Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo Arena to do his test, his COVID-19 test. I think 2 days ago. They expected him not to be part of the team, yet he showed up. Dude, I think he lost $1 million. I think he lost $1 million dollars worth of salary. So, siguro napaisip siya, pucha, medyo malaki-laki yung nakawala sa akin dito pag di ako nagpakita. So, yeah, I think there was an article that Rich Paul didn't know that Ben Simmons was going to show up in Philadelphia. So, nagulat siya, nag-lunch sa Philadelphia, and he took his COVID test. So, I'm guessing he's coming back to the team. That's why I'm putting him in the starting lineup. Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid. Same lineup as last year. So, the biggest question here is basically Ben Simmons, you know. This team is really good with him. It's just that, hindi talaga siya tumitira. You know, but he's really good with him in the team. Notable additions ba tayo? Andre Drummond, Grant Ryler, Aaron Henry, Georges Niang, and their draft pick, Jaden Springer. Wala akong masyadong idea sa mga yan. Kilala ko si Andre Drummond. He's gonna have the role of Dwight Howard last season. Yung role niya na backup, and I think he's going to do well. This is definitely an upgrade compared to Dwight Howard in terms of skill-wise. So, as a backup, this is a good pickup for Philadelphia 76ers. Now, let's talk to reserve players to watch. Tyrese Maxey. Yes, kung si Ben Simmons di bumalik, I'm pretty sure Tyrese Maxey would be the starting point guard. And, yes, Tyrese Maxey deserves to be the starting point guard. He dropped 30 points. I think last game, in the playoffs, he dropped 30 points. So, Okay, so sabi ni Migo, in my opinion, he's a downgrade to Dwight. Let's not forget when he was playing last season for the Cleveland Cavaliers, he was still good. He was really good when he was playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers last season. He was averaging double doubles. Let me double check. I'll double check on the stats. Okay. His stats last season when he played for Cleveland Cavaliers, it was 17 points. Okay, 17 points, 13 rebounds, and he had 1.6 blocks. So it's still pretty decent when he's playing. When he played for the Lakers, he was 11. He had 12 points, 10 rebounds per game. So it's still pretty decent. So imagine mo if that's going to be your reserve guy. Especially when he gets his Cleveland Cavaliers form. It's a monster. It's a monster reserve. Yun nga lang, question is, will he get playing time? And also, sorry, nawala yung sasabihin ko. May nakita ko message. Sorry. Wait lang. Tubig muna ako. Medyo same sila ng, well, he's actually more of a traditional center. So we'll see kung anong gagawin nila once sa kalaban nila is small ball. Although Embiid can play that. He's been playing against small ball lineups. It's just that, yun nga. So yun, Migo, for me personally, it's an upgrade. In my opinion, it's an upgrade. But for you, if it's a downgrade, yes, maybe. Kasi, maybe, yeah, it's your opinion, so I'm not sure about it. Again, maybe. Actually, guys, kayo, magandang question. Do you think Drummond is an upgrade over Dwight or a downgrade over Dwight? Let's talk about that. So, guys, comment it below. I'd like to know your opinions regarding that. Okay, now reserve players to watch. Tyrese Maxey would be, if he's coming off the bench, he's going to be the sixth man of the year. I don't think Shake Milton's much more of, like parang compresses, but I think Tyrese Maxey is the one who's going to explode, especially on the six-man role. Matisse Thybulle. Yes, Matisse Thybulle. This guy's a defensive player, This guy can defend, but cannot semi siya sa defense. You know what? If they want defense, he could I'm projecting he's going to be in the starting lineup for Danny Green. Especially if Tyrese Maxey is gonna start, I think Danny Green or Seth Curry might sit down for Matisse Thybulle just to have additional defense in this lineup. But Matisse Thybulle, I think he's a great spark. He's gonna give you hustle plays. He's gonna give you good steals, good blocks. In terms of scoring, though, yun ang something na he's quite lacking in his game. So we'll see. Fantasy players to watch is Tyrese Maxey. I think there are games na he will explode. He will give you tons of points. Tobias Harris has been the most consistent player for the past season sa kanila. This is my rule, actually. Sabihin ko sa inyo in terms of fantasy, opinion ko lang. If you draft Embiid, go draft Harris. Not Simmons, but draft Harris. I think pag nawawala si Embiid, he's the one who's actually really stepping up. And Seth Curry, for 3 points, you got Seth Curry and scoring. He's been consistent sa 3 points. Grabe yung consistency sa 3 points. Dami niyang tinitirang 3 points for the past few seasons. Kaya I think he's a very good fantasy value, especially in the later rounds. And then Joel Embiid. Let's talk about Joel Embiid. He's a monster, man. He's really, really good. Siya yung mga, if he's not injury prone, I think he's the best center right now. Because in my opinion, the best center right now is still Jokic. Jokic, AD when healthy, and then Embiid. Okay? And then, yun yung ranking score. And then Kat. Yeah. Kahit hawak ko si Kat, I think it's much a safer pick si Kat in terms of health-wise compared kay Embiid. But then again, if you're a fan of Embiid and you want to pick him, I suggest you pick Tobias Harris too. Parang kumbaga, ano lang sa kanya, safety lang ba. Let's check out the stats of Embiid. Last season he had 28.5 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists per game, and then a block and a steal per game. That's really good. On a 51% free throw percentage plus 37% 3-point shooting, which is very high for high mark for centers, diba? Now, key questions going into the season: Ben Simmons' future. Yes, that's the question looming in this team, in this franchise. It's just Ben Simmons' future. Will he play for them, or will he stick with being traded, or where will he land? If he's going to be traded, where will he land? Ben Simmons is their best playmaker and also their best perimeter defender aside from Matisse Thybulle, you know. So, we'll see about that. Migo saying na Ben Simmons to the Kings now. I don't think pwede, but I'm not sure who they'll trade for Ben Simmons. Definitely 76ers would want the Aaron Fox for Ben Simmons. Now, will this be the MVP season of Embiid? That's the question. With Simmons out, definitely sobrang laki na mapupuntang workload kay Embiid. So, we'll see. Will this be the year Embiid ascend to basically MVP level player? And then, key questions, improvements to Thybulle and Harris. Now, Harris has been consistent this whole year. I want to see if he could improve and be an all-star. So, yun ang gusto ko makita, and I hope he does. Hindi ko siya hawak sa fantasy ko ngayon. Wala pa akong hawak na team sa kanya. Although meron pa ako isang team na magda-draft this late in the week. So, I'll check that out. So, hopefully, tingnan natin. And also, improvements sa Thybulle. Like I said, this guy is a good defensive guy. They really like Thybulle. Di ko na kung paano pronounce Thybulle, whatever. Nabubulol na ako. Matisse Thybulle. So, improvement to him. Again, if this guy could actually score, pangit ng jumper niya, man. Ang lala ng jumper niya. I mean, hindi ako magaling mag-shooting, pero all I'm saying is that, yeah, hindi maganda yung shooting niya, man. So, he has a bad 3-point shooting. And also, let me check his free throw. Yeah, free throw percentage na is 44%, 30% 3 points field goal percentage. But he doesn't score much, you know. So, we'll see. Plus, yeah. Anyway. Oh, ito, may sinabi siya, I think he's a good downgrade kasi the trend on Andre's production is going down. Upside on Dwight is he's pretty consistent production-wise. Also, he has a better hustle mentality plus endurance. Mobility, so that's why I think he's a better fit. Okay, makes sense. Yeah. In terms of production-wise, we'll see this season. I think Drummond's gonna have a good season, in my opinion. Imagine mo Drummond, Ben Simmons doing the pick and roll when he had the chance. That's quite scary. Alright, let's go to the Toronto Raptors. Yes. Oh yeah. By the way, predictions in terms of their what do you call this? In their standing, will this still be the number 1 team? I think so. They will be top 2. This team or Brooklyn, in my opinion, is the top 2 teams in the East. It's hard without Milwaukee improving that much, diba? So I think this team and also I forgot the other team. Philadelphia and Brooklyn. Yeah. I mean, Brooklyn parang itaga mo na sa bato yun. So, yun. Raul, sabi ni Raul, Quiz, ano masasabi mo? Kyrie Irving, Lena Rhodes. Dude, not Lena Rhodes. It's KD. Si KD yung sinasabi na nakabuntis kay Lena Rhodes. Si KD. Sabi nila, yun ang rumors. Dude, ganda ni Lena Rhodes, by the way. Grabe, pina-follow ko siya sa Instagram. Sabi ko na to saglit. Pina-follow ko siya sa Instagram. Grabe, mas gumanda siya nung nabuntis siya. Yung parang nagiging nanay siya. Grabe, meron siyang effect. Same as Sophia Andres, na ang ganda nila nung naging mom sila. My God, grabe si Lena Rhodes. Wild. Anyway, napansin ko lang, nagsabi lang ng Lena Rhodes, dumami yung viewers. My God. Hot take, number 1 seed in East, Miami. Pwede. Actually, Migo yun. I think Miami, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, and lagi ko nakakalimutan. Shit. Brooklyn are basically the top 4 teams in the East. Okay, now let's go to Toronto Raptors. Toronto Raptors, 12th in the Eastern Conference. This team is going to play in the play-in. Okay? In my opinion, they're going to play in the play-in. Either they're going to land between 7th to 10th place. Yan ang prediction ko for this team. With notable additions, Goran Dragic, Precious Achiuwa, Isaac Bonga, Zvi Malecon, hindi ko alam paano pronounce, Scotty Barnes. Excited for this guy. Dami nagsabi this was a reach for Toronto Raptors, but he actually played well. He actually played well in the preseason. He played well in the preseason, and he was basically decent in the summer league, you know. So let's check out his stats. Okay. He's gonna have a chance while Pascal Siakam is gone. You know, so I guess he's gonna have to seize the moment while Pascal Siakam is basically injured. So ito sa projected starting lineup: Goran Dragic, Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, no, not Pascal Siakam. I think Scotty Barnes would start there since Pascal Siakam is injured, and then Kim Birch. Kim Birch would be their starting center. Alright, now reserve players to watch: Scotty Barnes, Malachi Flynn, Gary Trent, Chris Boucher. Yes, he's still injured, so wala pa siya. And Precious Achichua. Okay. I want to check Scotty Barnes first. Let's check Scotty Barnes preseason. Scotty Barnes. Anyway, guys, natawa ko dito. This preseason has been good. And he also looked good. And binibigay sa kanya yung bola. Well, again, like I said, it's preseason. So, ano yung expect natin doon? In the Summer League, he played 4 games. He had 15 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists on 41% shooting. So, in Summer League, he quite dominated it. You know? Not dominated, but he had a good Summer League. And then preseason, he played 5 games. He had 9 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds. Which is, yeah, pretty decent. Oh, it's decent, diba, for a rookie? Especially, oh, yeah. So, I guess this Scotty Barnes, I'm really... Actually, nire-reach to sa mga fantasy leagues na nasalihan ko. They're getting him in a late round, around 10. So, I think there was one league na kinuha siya ng 9th round. But yeah, he's a good value in terms of fantasy in the later rounds. So, basically, a high upside pick. Alright, now let's go to our fantasy players to watch. Like I said, OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, Scotty Barnes, and FVV. Now, hindi ko nasama si FVV dito kasi I think given naman, FVV basically is the guy for this team. Especially with how Siakam played last season. I think he's gonna have a bounce back here, this year. Siguro na-shock lang siya, nabilang siya na yung main man. But in this Raptors team, I think FVV or Fred VanVleet is still their number 1 guy. Okay? That's just my opinion. So, yeah, aside from FVV, Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, and OG Anunoby. Question here is, will Pascal Siakam improve from last season? And also OG. Okay, now here's the key questions going into the season. How good is Scotty Barnes? They drafted him really high. So I guess they see him something here that is very, very promising for this guy. So yun ang kailangan nila makita. And that's something I'm really excited about. I want to know how good is this guy. Ito ba, bust? I mean, not bust, but parang hype lang ba or something? Will he be, actually the question for me is, will he be a Rookie of the Year candidate? Kasi like I said, Jalen Suggs and Cade Cunningham are my top 2. Basically, parang itaga mo na, yan ang magiging ROI this season. But will Scotty Barnes get in that conversation? And also Jalen Green? We'll see. Ken, will any of the Raptor stars be an All-Star? Will Pascal Siakam be an All-Star again? Will FVV be an All-Star? And also OG. That's the thing that I'm actually interested. Will OG be an All-Star this year? He played really well last season. Stat-wise, this was the stats of OG Anunoby last season. He had 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists on 39% shooting, 3-point shooting, and 48% field goal. So if he could improve and be an All-Star, I think that's a great win for the Raptors. They might have 3 potential All-Stars right now. If Pascal Siakam gets into his All-Star form, definitely they would be out of the bottom 5 of the Eastern Conference. And next question is Precious Achichua. I think he's one of the reasons, or it's the centerpiece, that's why they traded Kyle Lowry to get this guy. I'm not sure if they're really high. They're high on this guy to get him. I mean, Goran Dragic, they knew that he was going to be out or bought out. By the way, Goran Dragic wants to be out. So, also, that's one of the questions. We'll see. But I think he's gonna play. He's a what do you call this? He's a professional, so I guess he's gonna play. Precious Achichua is an intriguing talent, an undersized, athletic, small ball center. Defensively, he's good. If he could improve his jumpers and also his free throws or shooting in general, we might see a great small ball center for the Toronto Raptors. Let's not forget also Chris Boucher. Chris Boucher? Boucher, yeah. Chris Boucher. He was really he was good defensively last season. So when he gets back, I want to know, yun, parang what would be his role? Would he be the starting role? Would he get the starting role as a center? Or will Kim Birch hold it? Oh, speaking of Kim Birch, underrated tong guy though. He's been pretty decent, or serviceable. Also he's been serviceable in basically Fantasy 2. Plus as a center, a starting center. So ito yung mga centers na masyadong hindi na pag-uusapan because they're not too flashy, but they're actually serviceable as a starting center. So he had 12 points last season with 7 rebounds, a block a game, and 55% field goal percentage. So see, pretty decent. And here we go. Our last team for the Eastern Conference. For the Eastern Conference, yeah, we have the Washington Wizards, who I think added a lot of pieces this year to give, parang ligawan si Bradley Beal to stay with them. I'll go to the comments first. Scotty Barnes, late last pick by Migo. Yes, super good yun. Around those times. Like I said, in my deep league, 16-man league, I think someone got him for a 9th pick. Who will have a better season, Van Fleet or SJA? You know what? I think Van Fleet, in my opinion. Why? Kasi they're gonna fight for a playoff spot eh. SJA, pag dumating na yung tanking time, nakita na wala silang chance mag-playoffs, I think they might rest him a lot. Again, he's a developing player. He's gonna have good moments, but I think mas may pinaglalaban si Van Vliet. So I think he's gonna have more playing time. Well, definitely he's the man here. So, and plus they want to play in the playoffs eh. So I'm pretty sure Van Vliet, FVV, would have a bigger year compared to SJA, in my opinion lang. But I don't know, you guys. Kuzma, sure, palaki bayag as usual. What do you expect from Kuzma? Diba? I mean, dati fan ako nito eh, pero parang naging pabebe ng konti. So anyway, notable additions: head coach Wes Unseld, Aaron Holiday, KCP or Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, Spencer Dinwiddie, Corey Kispert, and then Isaiah Todd. Let's go with our starting lineup. Projected is Spencer Dinwiddie, Bradley Beal, Kuzma, Rui Hachimura, and Daniel Gafford. Yes, Daniel Gafford will definitely be the starting center for this team. I think Montrezl Harrell would be their 6th man and their energy guy off the bench. Daniel Gafford offers an upside in defense. So I guess they're gonna put him here kasi if you look at the lineups, I don't think they have a very good defensive lineup here. Offensively, yes, they have, but in terms of defense, I think medyo may kulang. Okay, now reserve players to watch: KCP, Montrezl Harrell, and Bertans. Also, with the SF position, they could also put in their KCP if they want Kuzma off the bench. I honestly think they should put KCP there because he's basically a decent defender. Plus also a 3-point shooter. However, medyo undersized siya for the SF position. Especially that Dinwiddie isn't also a great perimeter defender. So, but we'll see. Reserve players to watch. Comment here. Thomas Bryant parang not worth it to stash this year. If you have multiple IL positions, I highly recommend you stash him. I mean, nasa IL lang naman siya eh. But if you don't have any IL positions in your fantasy, I highly don't recommend stashing Thomas Bryant too. Fantasy players to watch is Rui Hachimura, Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, Spencer Dinwiddie. Spencer Dinwiddie, if he gets back to his pre-injury form, then you're in luck if you get him in fantasy. I think yung ADP niya is masasurpass na rin naman niya. So, that's good. Montrezl Harrell, I think he's gonna have a rebound year. Put him as 6-man role again. Siya yung basically magiging heart ng second unit. I think it's gonna be good. And in my opinion, that is the plan of Washington Wizards. Now, let's talk about Rui Hachimura. He had a great year last season. I mean, for standards of a second-year player, it wasn't bad. I think he's gonna have a decent year. I'm a bit high on this guy. I think he's gonna be consistent naman. He's gonna give you good points. For his ADP, I think it's gonna be good. No, it's not a reach if you get Rui Hachimura for his ADP. Kyle Kuzma, ito more of like We'll see. It's a hit or miss. Either he becomes one of Washington's reliable scorer, or magiging pabebe siya. We'll see. If he gets back to his uh, pre-LeBron, pre-LeBron LA days, then that's a good pick. That's a very good pick. So, we'll have to see. Sorry, first year LeBron days niya pala, yung sobrang init niya. Anyway, key question, will they reach the playoffs? They were 10th last season. Binuwat, well, di man sila binuwat, pero a good performance after the All-Star break by Russell Westbrook propelled them to the 10th spot and in the play-in. I guess they will reach the playoffs this season. Yeah, another play-in, in my opinion. Another play-in position for them. They improved a lot. Basically, tinanggal niya si Russell Westbrook for depth. And let's not forget, they also have Thomas Bryant in the lineup here, and also David Bertans and Denny Avea. So madami pa silang Denny Avdija or something like that. I don't know what's his name. Also Raul Neto. Raul Neto has been an okay backup. Also they have Aaron Holiday to back up Spencer Dinwiddie. So I think that's really a good addition to their team. Yes, in my opinion, they are going to reach the playoffs, but we'll see. That's one of the questions. Again, will Spencer Dinwiddie return to the pre-injury form? If he does return to the pre-injury form, then a Bradley Beal Spencer Dinwiddie combination is a good backcourt, a good offensive backcourt. And the next question going into this is Bradley Beal's future. Will he stay? I guess he's not going to sign the extension that is eligible for this year. He still has 2 years in his contract. Kung yun nagkakamali, I think he's not going to sign that, and he's not going to try to, what do you call this? He's not going to try to rush into things. Let's try to see first if kaya ng Wizards to compete at least man lang in the top divisions of the Eastern Conference. So that's one of the questions going in here. In terms of performance, I don't think bababa performance niya. I think it might even increase, especially with a good supporting cast now, and also without Russell Westbrook. So I think Bradley Beal is really the man of Washington Wizards right now. Well, basically, it's built around him naman. So, yeah. Oh, question, who will have a better season? Caruso versus KCP. I would pick, I'll take Caruso. Caruso will have a lot of chances in Chicago. Like I said kanina, walang depth ang Chicago. Outside their starting five, they only have Caruso, Kobe White. So, Derek Jones Jr., if you would count that in. And Tony Bradley, so yun lang yung mga second unit na. So I think I don't think they signed Caruso to play to play his Los Angeles Lakers part. Basically, kung ano yung ginagawa. I think they were gonna ask more from Caruso this season, and I think he's gonna step up to it. With KCP medyo stacked eh. See? As I said, this lineup medyo, kung titignan mo, they're still stacked. They have a lot of depth. So, I think in terms of opportunity, Caruso will have his chance this year to really, really shine. So, alright, so basically that's it for our Eastern Conference team preview. I hope you guys enjoyed our podcast for today. Any more questions in the comment box? Any more topics that you'd like to talk about? Di pa naman maalis. I'm just saying, kung ano yung mga topics na yan, I'll gladly open to talk about it. Ano yung mga topics na yan? And ito pa yung question ko at the start of the show. Who do you think will win the Eastern Conference? Who do you think will win the Eastern Conference with all the team previews that we have today? Personally, I think, in my opinion, the Brooklyn Nets would be the number one team. Okay? They would be the number one team, in my opinion. However, in the playoffs, it's still a different story. Milwaukee Bucks is a playoffs team. They're really good in the playoffs. So, I would honestly pick in the Eastern Conference Finals, it would be still Brooklyn Nets and Milwaukee Bucks. You know, if everything goes well, even if hindi sila ganun ka-depth, but they're healthy going into the playoffs, I think they're still there are the teams. Milwaukee is the team to beat in the playoffs. However, in the regular season, I think Brooklyn would dominate this one. Definitely, I think Brooklyn would win. Would be the number one seed here. But then again, that's just a prediction. So I'd like to know. Migo, you're saying Miami versus Brooklyn. Pwede. There's a good chance Miami too. In terms of number 1 seed sa East, sino tingin mo? Big year for Bam, DOP. Pwede. There's a big chance. Although, in terms of fantasy, medyo skeptical. Hawak ko siya last season, burta-burta ko. So, medyo galit pa rin ako sa kanya this season. But yeah, I think Bam might improve. Plus also, again, like I say, my man, Hero, improving. I think that team is a very, very good team. Alright, so, yeah, that's it for our NBA Eastern Conference team preview. I'll be doing the Western Conference preview on Monday. Medyo mahaba-habang research yung ginawa ko. Nagbasa-basa ako konti, babasa pa ako, and also with the slides. I hope you guys enjoyed this. By the way, is the pictures good? Yung mga ginagawa kong picture. Medyo naaliw lang ako sa kanya. So if you guys think the picture or the pictures that I showed you was fun, well, give it a thumbs up. Mukhang, sabi ni Raul, mukhang hindi aabot Brooklyn. I doubt, you know. I don't think may eliminate sila. Hindi sila aabot ng playoffs, you know. I think worst comes to worst, they're outside top 3. You know? No, kahit wala si Kyrie. Kyrie is a luxury. Okay? Kyrie is a luxury. So, honestly, in this team, Kyrie is a luxury. Durant and Harden is enough to get you in the playoffs, even in the top 3. So, yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry. In the playoffs, like I said, pagdating sa playoffs, nagbabago. Yung defensive team. Also, we have to take into consideration the new rule change regarding the fouls. James Harden was one of the players that was basically ang nagbe-benefit doon. So, we'll have to see if James Harden scoring would go down or kung maapektuhan ba with the new rule. Kasi siya, Trae Young, they're actually the ones na ang malakas kumain dun sa parang pabebe foul na yun, yung ginagawa nilang fake foul. So, we'll have to check first. But yeah, in the playoffs, I honestly think they would beat 76ers pag wala si Simmons. I honestly think they would beat 76. If Simmons is there, nadalawang isip pa ako. But then again, yeah, for now, I'll pick Brooklyn and Milwaukee in the Eastern Conference Finals. Who would go on to the finals? Hot take lang to. You know, I'll go with Milwaukee Bucks. You know, I think Giannis is gonna have a big year talaga. So, hot take. That's just my hot take. So, kayo guys, anong tingin nyo? Anyway, well, that wraps up our Eastern Conference team preview. I'll also do game previews next time on the Western Conference. So, pag-usapan natin kung ano yung mga games to watch in the first week of the NBA. I also just like to tackle a bit on football. Well, basically, football, I think the Premier League games tomorrow that are worth watching is yes, guys, tomorrow, football. Pag-usapan natin saglit. Lipat ko na pala yung aking OBS to pre-show 1. Okay, football games tomorrow is Manchester United versus Leicester. Nakalimutan ko pa na i-pronounce. Leicester City, Manchester United, 10 p.m. tomorrow. Also, ito yung mga top games na nakikita ko so far. Newcastle and Tottenham. By the way, Newcastle has a new owner. 10 times richer than the owner of Manchester City. My God, ganun kayaman Newcastle. Newcastle is an upcoming team next season. Pucha, shopping spree yan. Shopping spree sila for sure next season in terms of players. So, I'm seeing rumors na their number 1 target right now is Kylian Mbappe. So, Newcastle, team to watch next season. But for now, they're gonna have to face Tottenham on Sunday at 11:30 p.m. This is for match day 8. Ito yung mga interesting matches na nakikita ko lang. And also, Everton versus West Ham. I think those are the interesting matches to watch this weekend for Premier League. Now, let's go to La Liga. La Liga, interesting games to watch here. Barcelona-Valencia is playing. And also, Espanyol and Cadiz. Barcelona on Monday, 3 a.m. against Valencia, and Villarreal against Osasuna, 12:30 a.m. Yes, and then let's go to Serie A, or the Italian League, which, by the way, favorite team ko dito, which is AC Milan. AC Milan will be facing Verona, 2:45 a.m. on Sunday morning. And Inter Milan versus Lazio. I think this is a good matchup. So 12 a.m., 12 midnight on Sunday. Yan. And also Juventus versus Roma Monday, 2:45 a.m. Now we'll dive into more of football next time. But for now, since NBA season, starting of the NBA season, we'll talk more about that. But then again, in this podcast, dadaanan natin yung other sports like the NFL and the football world. So, yeah. Well, anyway, that's it for our first episode, guys. Thank you so much for joining me in this first episode of the Watch Sports podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any comment, suggestion for our next episode, please do comment it or just message me. Just message this. I actually enjoyed. Kinakabahan ako kanina. Na-enjoy ko itong ginagawa and I'm looking forward to creating more episodes for this podcast. Well, for me, you could find me on Instagram. It's at KGKawachi, which I would show in a while. And also, just follow me on YouTube. By the way, this episode will be on Spotify too. Siguro i-edit ko lang ng konti. And you could see this on Spotify soon. By the way. So, yeah. Later, ipopost ko dito kung saan nyo ako pwede hanapin. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. Have a great weekend. Take care. Stay safe. And let's all watch sports. Yeah. Kind of like that word. I'll see you guys.